before my one and only Mon reached level 4, I was out of ether. Such was the end result of my first experience with Ethereum, a game inspired by Pokémon and built on the world's second largest blockchain, Ethereum. I had around $15 worth of ether to spare, so I decided to try it out, eventually arming myself with a cute, fire-themed creature called Kyari. But I quickly ran into an issue with the blockchain game. Namely, with $15, I never got a chance to move on to more interesting gameplay, battling other users' mons, evolving my mon into more powerful forms, laying eggs or making trades. Every action, from catching the mon in reality a non-fungible ERC-721 token, to training it in gym sessions with other mons, i.e., altering the data associated with that token, had cost the equivalent of $1 or $2. The reason is that every update to Ethereum's smart contracts calls for gas, part of a complex fee mechanism that incentivizes the miners who maintain the Ethereum blockchain. Making matters worse, these transactions often took several minutes to complete. Such problems, transactions that cost too much and take too long, are known by the shorthand scalability in the blockchain world, and they've caused severe headaches for game designers who want to use a decentralized platform like Ethereum. Poor user experience, which also involves having to buy Ether and install a browser extension that can connect to the blockchain, has stunted adoption. Ethereum is the second most popular Ethereum-based game, but that's not saying much. At the time of writing, it's had just 209 users over the previous 24 hours, according to DappRadar. At one point, gas costs rose so much that Ethereum's developers had to take drastic action. It became super expensive, and we saw our daily active user drop a lot, co-founder and business development director Nedrick Go told CoinDesk. As a result, the team moved battles, in which users pit their mons against others for experience points and bragging rights, off the Ethereum chain and onto centralized servers. Partially re-centralizing a decentralized game seems like it's missing the point. However, so Ethereum announced earlier this month that it is planning to move much of the gameplay to a new, soon-to-be-launched blockchain protocol called Zilliqa. Both Zilliqa's and Ethereum's teams are based in Singapore. But in a decision that may reflect an emerging trend in the development of decentralized applications, apps, such as Ethereum, the designers don't plan to move the game's assets. The tokenized mons that encode data such as level, experience points and evolutionary form, data that gamers have earned through many slow and costly actions, will stay on Ethereum for the time being. In other words, Ethereum will be one game on two blockchains, a zippier, more scalable chain on top, allowing users to play the game quickly and cheaply, and an arguably more secure chain below, providing users with the reassurance that their hard-won assets are safe from attack. As Go put it, Zilliqa would work as sidechain for us. Zilliqa, sharding from a launch. Ethereum's developers have a number of scalability projects in the works. But according to Go, Ethereum's team and its users can't wait around for those to be implemented. They have to commit Casper and then proof of stake and then sharding, so it will take a long time, he told CoinDesk. Zilliqa, by contrast, is rare if not unique in the world of blockchain protocols, in that it is integrating sharding, a technique that's been used to manage more traditional databases for decades, from the get-go. Amrit Kumar, Zilliqa's co-founder and head of research, said the technique has allowed the network to process 2,488 transactions per second in tests, whereas Ethereum, right now, can manage perhaps a couple dozen. Kumar explained how sharding works in a blockchain network using an example. Given a network of 10,000 computers, known as nodes, he said, a sharding protocol would split those up into 10 smaller networks, or shards, of 1,000 nodes each. Each shard would then process a subset of the total transactions. Every time Alice sent some cryptocurrency tokens, for example, shard A would process the transaction. Every time Bob sent some, the transaction would go to shard B. This technique is relatively new territory for blockchains, but Zilliqa's team brings serious academic credentials to bear on the problem. Two authors of an early paper laying out a blockchain sharding protocol are involved: Zilliqa Chief Scientific Advisor Pratik Saxena, and Kyber Network CEO Loi Lu, who advises the project. Kumar said Zilliqa, which is expected to launch before the end of the third quarter, aims to be the go-to platform for applications which require high throughput and high scalability. Bedrock Ethereum scalability and throughput are not the only considerations for Ethereum's developers, however. Users want gameplay to be fast, but they want to be sure there's no risk of losing their lovingly bred, trained and evolved monsters. The mons represent a good deal of accumulated time and expense for some users, and therefore there are currently no plans to migrate these tokens over to a new chain. Instead, the data from gameplay on Zilliqa will periodically be synced over to these tokens. We actually feel that keeping all the in-game assets on the Ethereum network is very secure, said Go. Kumar said he understood why Ethereum would keep in-game assets where they were. Ethereum is certainly an established network and we do understand that there's still some benefit of using Ethereum. He argued, however, that in certain ways Zilliqa offers more security than Ethereum, because Zilliqa's non-Turing complete language, Zilla, means you won't be able to write a buggy contract like the DAO, the Ethereum-based victim of an infamous 2016 hack. According to Kumar, because Zilla is not as complex as Ethereum's language, Solidity, it is easier to test for vulnerabilities. On the other hand, Zilliqa's method of reaching network consensus, practical Byzantine fault tolerance, PBFT, is potentially more vulnerable to certain kinds of attacks than Ethereum's proof-of-work method. Unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum, which are theoretically secure so long as the majority of the nodes follows the rules, PBFT presents a potential limitation in that it requires two-thirds of nodes to be honest. In other words, PBFT runs the risk not just of 51% attacks but 34% attacks. Although, Kumar argued that the situation is actually more complicated, since it's possible to attack a proof-of-work blockchain without controlling a majority of nodes. Whatever the actual security advantages of keeping Ethereum assets on Ethereum versus moving them to Zilliqa, this sort of architecture, in which a slower, battle-tested chain is used to store assets while a top layer processes transactions, may be catching on. Loom Network offers tools to build dedicated sidechains for decentralized games that are anchored to Ethereum, and has begun exploring shared sidechains that host multiple games. It's really important to have that decentralized base layer of Ethereum, Loom Network co-founder James Duffy told CoinDesk in May, because then you can use it like the High Court. At the moment, Ethereum and Zilliqa have yet to figure out how exactly to juggle two chains, but Go was optimistic, telling CoinDesk this is just the first stage of the collaboration. Ethereum gameplay image courtesy of Ethereum, the leader in blockchain news. CoinDesk is a media outlet that strives for the highest journalistic standards and abides by a strict set of editorial policies. CoinDesk is an independent operating subsidiary of Digital Currency Group, which invests in cryptocurrencies and blockchain startups.